Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back into the video. So I want to start off today with this. This is the CEO of Tether saying that Tether, SoftBank, Bitfinex, I don't know who the official counter is, and Jack Mallers have announced 21, a native Bitcoin company expected to launch with over 42,000 Bitcoin on a mission to maximize Bitcoin ownership per share. Essentially, what they're doing is launching a company to buy and hold Bitcoin, copying the MicroStrategy playbook. I don't know where this ends, but at least in the short term, it's just adding leverage to the Bitcoin trade, which means supply is being taken off the market so price can squeeze higher. And I say short term, I'm talking like 1 to 12 month time period. This is probably going to be extremely bullish for crypto. If and when it pops and comes down, or if it does, which it probably will, because normally these things do, it probably leads to an accelerated sell-off as people unwind positions, talking like Sailor and these guys now. But and please don't get this confused, in the short term it probably means we pump much higher than expected, because it means less capital has to flow into the space to move the price higher. And it's like a reinforcing bullish cycle. When things get bullish and supply gets taken up, more people get bullish and price squeezes higher, and then more supply gets taken up and more people get bullish and price squeezes higher, and it's like that, like a vortex. And then you get the parabolic blow off top, and that's how you can get some crazy price targets for Bitcoin and crypto itself as well. And the higher Bitcoin goes, the better it is for the market. So you can love it, you can hate it, but it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It's happening, so you just act accordingly. Don't be angry about it. Don't take it. Don't be offended by it. Laugh at it if you want to laugh at it, but understand the financial aspect of it if you're here for finance. That's as much and as little as what I can say. I think that it's probably bullish for Bitcoin price action, at least in the short term. And if it's bullish for price action for Bitcoin, I'm happy about that. That being said, we're going to look at some TA now. First off, actually, let's just look at Bitcoin against gold, because pretty much the call that I've been making for Bitcoin against gold has been playing out to a T. First off, we'll look at it on the daily time frame. That's a 3-day. I accidentally clicked that. But we'll look at it on the daily time frame, and then I want to look at the 3-day later, so I don't want to forget about that for XRP. But this is Bitcoin against gold, and what we've seen on the daily time frame is, look, when Bitcoin's rallied, gold's cooled off, and then Bitcoin's rallied, gold's cooled off, and then gold's rallied as Bitcoin's cooled off, and now even almost to the hourly. So gold cooled off from the top here, pulled down a bit, Bitcoin shot up, and now if we take us to the hourly look, it's almost happening to the hour now. Gold's cooled off, Bitcoin rallied, Bitcoin's cooled off, gold's rallied. Let's see what continues to happen here. Let's just move this so you can see it a bit more clearly. Look, Bitcoin rallies and gold rallies in this morning. Let's just show you this on a bit more zoomed in scale. So gold rallied the last few hours and Bitcoin's cooled off. Like, it's playing out almost hourly right now. So that's something to watch. That call's been pretty good. We've been making that call for the most part of the year, saying that I think they're but the other thing is, directionally they are moving in the same direction. That's the thing else I want you guys to really remember when we look at everything. Like, I've accidentally put that on the wrong percentage time frame, a percentage frame. Because I do think that obviously Bitcoin moves up more in percentage. It's a much lower market cap. It takes less liquidity to move the price up. But you can see directionally on the weekly, they pretty much follow suit. But as one cools off, the other one rallies. So that's the point I'm making and have been trying to make with Bitcoin. Now let's look at the DXY. The DXY has been continuing to fall. We have had a little bit of a bounce on the DXY, which is obviously expected. We're massively oversold on the indicators, so we're going to have a bounce at some point. The weekly is now in the oversold territory in the RSI and the stochastic, so maybe short term we have a bit of a bounce to the DXY, but I'd like to see some of this weakness of the DXY start to rotate into strength for Bitcoin. We've been talking about that for a little while as well. Now looking at the shorter term Bitcoin TA, let's look at that. Let's go to Bitcoin. We've had this massive push up. We've closed above resistance, and now we're sort of like hovering at this like $92,000 to $94,000 region. This is XRP. Let's get to Bitcoin quickly, and then we'll come back to XRP. So just back on the hourly. I'm just trying to give you a bit of a broad picture of what I think is happening here for crypto. Bitcoin's next resistance is up towards 95,000, and realistically I think we probably head to 100,000 before no time. Realistically, we've head through this deep liquidity. I said as soon as we start entering this level, it's going to be a quick move up to 94k. And where did we get to? We got to like 94,900, but 94,900 we got to. But then people have been adding shorts since this time period. Well, since about here, 94,000 on the dot, people have been adding shorts. Their stops at 100k, and these are the things that continue these run-ups, to be honest, guys. You could say this is a bit of an impulsive move to the upside here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe up to 100k, or you could start the wave from down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again up to 100k, depending on where you measure from. You could say that this is just accumulation around this area, and the impulsive move started here, or you could say that this is the start of the wave pattern. So either way, I think we move up to 100k. Whether we pull back down before that or not is up for debate. As I always say, like, the short term is very volatile right now with everything that's happening around the world, but the trend looks to be intact, that we are heading back towards the upside, which is what I expected. I just said when it's going to happen, I don't know, but the move, I think, is back to the upside. With that being said, we've bled out on some liquidity here on this last spike, meaning that short's getting closed out, which is exactly what the liquidity was showing us. Now we're just waiting to see what happens next. On this last push-up, we have seen open interest basically stay the same, but premium be heavily negative, meaning that people, as again, like funding is telling, like leverage is telling us, people are shorting on leverage this move up. So let's see if we can see some spot buying and potentially some increased leverage as we move up. If we can continue to move up, then we should see a short squeeze back to the upside. Now, let's go and look at XRP. I'm going to look at XRP just on the liquidity charts here, just to show you what's going on there. We have more liquidity below us in terms of amount of liquidity, in terms of like depth, but in terms of density, we have more above us. I said I thought we'd go to 234 for XRP. That's because of this level here. We didn't actually quite make that. So I do feel like we will continue to around 234 in the short to medium term. Whether we come and sweep these lows here at 208 first or 2008, so $2, I don't know, potentially, but if Bitcoin continues to the upside, I expect XRP to follow suit. So that's what I'm looking at there. If we have a look at, what else was I going to show you guys? Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is at 64%, still chilling at the top of its range. We could get this range break that could take Bitcoin higher, and that could lead to Bitcoin breaking out before alts continue. Or, as we have done so far, we could just reject the top of this ascending parallel channel and give alts a real push. What you can see is just yesterday we had like a pullback in Bitcoin dominance, and that's what led alts to rally, and alts rally pretty hard. We have a bearish divergence continuing here at the top for Bitcoin dominance. So I expect Bitcoin dominance does pull back at some point, and I would expect it from the top of this range, as in this parallel channel. It has pulled back at this level every single time we've hit it since 2023. At least had a short-term pullback. But does it have that blow off top to start our alt season? This is where alt season has started historically. Each time we've seen alt season, both back in 2017 and 2021. Answer is, I don't know. We're assessing what we can see. I do think that alts, even if we spike up further in Bitcoin dominance, alts are the better percentage risk to reward, because at some point, just looking at history, we should at least get this much of a bleed out in Bitcoin dominance, which is a 40-ish% bleed out. If you look at what's happened historically, both times we've revisited the 39% level from the 68% level. So that's rotation. Unless something has changed, I presume that will continue, even with the ETFs, etc., that everyone points out. So definitely something to watch. I'm going to put it on the 3-day time frame now, and we've got 13 hours 22 minutes for this to close. Something I've been really watching for the 3-day time frame, and I posted this yesterday on X, is whether we can get this close here for XRP above, like a bullish cross here for XRP on the 3-day. It'd be fantastic to see that on the RSI. Let's just get this a bit more obvious for you guys. I'll make the chart bigger. I'd love to see this. If we can get this close here. I keep spitting today, I don't know why. I have a bit of a claggy mouth. We've broken the trend currently. We're just looking for that bullish cross now. We get that bullish cross, and you might start to see something like this. And if you do, hold on to your hats, because that's not on logarithmic. If you do, hold on to your hats, because I'm looking for the next leg. If we see a measured move, meaning we see the same thing as we saw here, the bullish cross, up we go, the bullish cross here, the 3-day, up we go. A measured move up towards $10 would be fantastic. Would that be the end of this move? I don't know, but if you use Elliott wave theory, you would expect this if it's wave 3, which you could argue that it is. Some people argue that this is wave 1 and wave 2. I don't believe that. This is impulsive. 1, 2, this is 3 in my opinion. 3 should not be the shortest wave, so it should be at least a measured move of the previous move. So it should be at least $8.50 on this next move, if I'm right. So I'm bullish. I'm excited. Things look good. Whether we short-term pull back or not is very difficult to tell in this market. We can see where the liquidity is. There's liquidity building above us. There's more people jumping short, trying to short the local tops. If I'm right, we probably just keep squeezing higher. More people trying to jump in short, which makes the squeeze higher and higher. And at some point then that means that we have a breakout to the upside. And that's when things get really exciting and people get hot on crypto. That's probably when we'll start to see the narratives be reinforced and shift by governments, etc. And that's what I'm watching out for. So alts probably outperform Bitcoin over the next, I don't know when, maybe the next 3 to 6 months, but maybe Bitcoin does well in the next few weeks, that outperform alts. The other scenario is Bitcoin pulls back in the next few days and alts rally over the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then Bitcoin either continues or we've seen the top for Bitcoin and alts start to outperform from there. Either way, at some point soon, Bitcoin has probably got a maximum of maybe 6 to 15% outperformance against alts or market dominance at most in the tank, and then it's alts outperforming from there. So that's where I sit. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please do hit the like button and share it with a friend. Peace up, A-Town down, as Crypto Insight UK would say.